have to try to wash my eye out.
You gotta do it. You can take a pause, wash it out.
No, it's all right. Whoa, that makes it worse.
What's going on, everybody, for VPC? I'm Parker Cmeyla, and you're watching VPC Hot Ones. It's a show with hot wings and even hotter questions. Today we're joined by Co O'Neill, a UW-Stout video production professor. You can catch him roaming the halls of CompTech or teaching classes such as advanced video or VFX. Co, thanks for coming.
It's all true.
So how are you with hot ones? Hot stuff?
I don't know. You know, I'm better than most of the people I grew up with.
Yeah?
You know, I grew up in Menominee.
Did you do any preparation for it?
You mean for tonight?
Yeah.
No.
No?
I ate some bread earlier.
There you go. See, that's what I heard. Donuts also help.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know.
I think Gordon Ramsay did.
I thought having sugar in your mouth would make it worse.
I think that's salt.
You think there's having salt? There's salt on donuts?
Salt? No, like salt while eating a hot wing.
Do you smell first? Or, oh, no, you just eat it, I guess. All right.
Right into
That's how we're doing it.
Soko, being that a fact that you grew up in Menominee, how does it feel to be teaching in the exact same place that you grew up?
It's cool because it's a lot different than when I grew up here. But it's also kind of cool because my dad taught here for 30 years, so.
What did he teach?
English. His office was in Harvey Hall before they renovated it. So, yeah, it was cool. Am I supposed to eat this whole thing?
You can take a bite or you can eat the whole thing. You do whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. No, it's actually really cool to come back and have my kid go to school here and have the town sort of be what I remember when I was a kid.
Right.
All the jerks moved away, so.
Yeah. What do you think of that one? Because I thought peach habanero was a weird sounding one.
Well, they make a lot of like habanero. Ever had a habanero martini?
No, but
sometimes
I've heard the habanero shot.
Sometimes they'll mix it with like fruit, like peach or lemon or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Do you order those often?
No.
Well, working at Lucasfilms, right? Is it true that you got to meet George Lucas and Steven Spielberg at the same time?
Yes. So the story is that it was my second day of work, and Spielberg had just won the Academy Award for Saving Private Ryan, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is the following. He hadn't won the award yet. That was the award party was coming up, so it was January, and we watched Terrence Malick's Thin Red Line, which was also a World War II movie, far superior if you ask me. Anyway, so Spielberg and Lucas were in attendance when we got to watch that movie, and as I had to stay late and fix some stuff, and as I was leaving, the two of them were standing in the only doorway I could get out of, talking about the differences between Saving Private Ryan and Thin Red Line. And it was kind of funny because here is, this is 1999 when this happened, and so he'd already done like Jurassic Park and Schindler's List. I mean, the guy was already a master of modern cinema, and here he was trying to say that Saving Private Ryan was still pretty cool because Terrence Malick made a movie, but it's all right. Saving Private Ryan is still pretty cool. It's like that's something that made me feel better about
It's
life.
still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't get through the door, so I had to say, "Excuse me, fellas," and walk right between them. And Spielberg's taller than you think, and Lucas is shorter than you think. Cholula. I have this in my fridge right now.
I have 3.
Are you all right? Some different flavors or just a bunch?
I go to Costco and I get those big packs.
Oh, yeah.
So I got like 2 of the big ones, and that's the third one.
No.
So you're a big VFX guy, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the most irritating moments that you've had with any client?
Doing visual effects or anything?
Visual effects mainly, but if you got a better
Just
story.
that people don't know how long something takes, or they think there's a magic plug-in that'll fix it. I've shown you the Lycra footage, but this is where these dudes went out to shoot a commercial about Lycra swimsuits, and they didn't bring a visual effects supervisor. Someone said, "Well, I'll just come with you. You don't have to pay me. I'll just come with you." And they're like, "No, we don't need it." And they put the green screen behind the woman in the green swimsuit when they didn't need it, and then when the kid was jumping in the pool where he was supposed to freeze in the air, they didn't put one over there. And not only that, but then there's crew behind the kid that they didn't clear out, and the people are moving and stuff like that. So
How long did that take you?
that's the thing. It took me like 12 hours, which it wouldn't happen at all if they'd done it correctly.
Right.
Because they could have done the whole shot in like 5 minutes if they'd done it correctly. So what went from being like a freebie, it cost them $2,000. So interesting side story.
What's that?
Skywalker Ranch. George Lucas bought that property in like 1978 or 1979, and he was trying to copy Francis Ford Coppola. We gonna eat this?
Yeah.
And because Coppola had a winery, right? Napa, it's actually Coppola Winery, which was even there, I think, even before he was a famous film director. But so Lucas planted a bunch of olive trees to make olive oil, and he planted a bunch of wine grapes and chili peppers. And so they had a Skywalker Ranch chili pepper sauce, and it was amazing. And I bought a case of it.
Really?
And then we went through all of it. It was amazing.
So while you're working on Fight Club, right? Because you worked on Fight Club.
Yeah.
As a audio guy, right?
Yeah. So I was technically an audio technician. My job was to fix all the machines that they used and support the Pro Tools, support the editors. Because this was 1999, so a lot of editors had still been editing on film. So like Titanic was not edited on a computer.
Right.
It was edited on actual mag film.
Where they have to like cut it.
Yeah, with a flatbed. And so the next year is 99, and they're doing, they start trying to transition over to just doing software-based sound editing. So a lot of my stuff was training. So I was like this 29-year-old dude trying to tell guys with like 12 Academy Awards how to use a computer. And that was tough. Like, you know who I am? And I'm like, just hit save, Randy, just hit save. So, but yeah, Fight Club, I got a chance to cut on there because Richard Hims, who was the sound supervisor, super nice guy, was like, you know how to use Pro Tools? I'm like, well, yeah. And he goes, sit down and cut something in there. So there's a scene where Jack, the narrator, and Marla are talking, Marla Singer, and she's stealing stuff from the laundry. And as she's walking out, you hear a car go by.
That was you. How do they treat Ed Norton in it?
So you've heard these stories, right? So Ed Norton was known at the time. Apparently he's reformed, but at the time he was an unbearable prick on set because he thought he was in a movie called Primal Fear, which was his first movie. And in order to make him more relaxed, the director Greg Hoblet said, "Hey, bring some notes in." And so Ed Norton thought the idea was that if you're the main actor, you get to make adjustments to the movie. He didn't understand. He was a stage actor before that. But then he got to a lot of success really young, and so he thought he was God's gift to acting, and so he would make a lot of sass. But David Fincher was not a person who tolerated that behavior. And David Fincher and Brad Pitt were old friends. Like they went back to, I don't know, probably before like the early days when David Fincher was doing like music videos and stuff. And so David Fincher would ask Brad Pitt to come to set to where they're doing stuff. So we were recording ADR, and so David Fincher liked the ADR worldized. You know what that means?
No.
That means you record the ADR in the environment in which it was shot.
Okay.
So you don't just go in a booth where it's all dead and then try to add fake reverb. You actually go to the gymnasium and record the sound in the gymnasium so the ADR sounds like the scene that was in the gymnasium, right?
Right.
But, and the whole thing with, if you've seen the movie Fight Club, Ed Norton's like supposed to be kind of exhausted and worn out and he's at wit's end all the time. So Brad Pitt came and started shooting baskets in the gym while he's trying to do his ADR. And it's just Ed Norton in front of a mic with headphones on, and he's got a little screen in front of him, and he's watching the loop so he can loop it and get the lip sync right and stuff like that. And as soon as he would say his lines, because go boop, 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 and then he'd be quiet so he'd say his lines, Brad Pitt would bounce the basketball. And then Ed Norton finally said, "Hey man, can you stop doing that? Can you stop doing that? It's really, really distracting. I'm trying to get this done." And it was like 10 takes, and Fincher would completely ignore Brad Pitt, just sit there and stare at Ed Norton. And finally, Ed Norton kind of cracked a little bit. He's like, "Come on, man, stop doing that. Why is he even here?" And David Fincher says, "Shut up and read your effing lines, you P-word."
This one's whoop ass.
Oh, it has Carolina Reaper right on
It
it.
has Carolina Reaper.
It comes in this handsome bottle with a wrap of some kind of, is it a cowboy?
It's a cowboy. Hat comes off too.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That's the lid.
You've done multiple jobs for like VFX editing, audio technician, even like technological stuff with computers.
Technological stuff.
But you have a master's in writing.
I'm a fan of screenwriting. Yep.
Do you have any like tips to help out any beginner screenwriters?
Yeah, the number one tip is just to finish your stuff. I mean, so many people are like, "I got this great idea. It's all in my head." Well, write it down. Half the people in this room don't write down their stuff before they go shoot it. It's like, I'm just gonna explain it to everybody while we're doing it. That's ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, you start writing stuff down, start small, make short films, then you can write longer stuff. But the hardest thing is to finish something. And I had a buddy who was in the film business. He did character design, stuff like that. And he was like, "You're gonna make a movie. You moved back to Menominee or to move back to Portland to make a movie, and you haven't made a movie yet." I'm like, "Well, I'm waiting for money." And so he sent me money, and all of a sudden the note was, "You have no excuses now." He sent me $5,000 in the mail. And so then I was like, "Oh shoot, he's someone I respect. I better do it." So finished script, made a movie called Decryptor. The script sold at the IFP in New York in 2004. And then I was like 1 for 1, which is like the worst thing that can happen to somebody, is you write a script and it sells. And then you're like, "Oh, that was easy. What else did I? No, I could just do something else now." My nose is starting to run a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I feel it more. I always feel it around my lips more.
I hear that a lot.
You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Let's try it. Or you can do one bite. You can eat the whole thing.
Ooh, it's smoky. It's hot. But the secret to eating something like a wing,
Right?
is you take it by the outside, that's where the hot stuff is, and you gotta eat the inside, which cools your mouth out. It's not like it's been marinated and stuff.
Right.
The inside chicken's completely flavorless.
It's supposed to help you cool it down.
Yeah, it's supposed to. Yeah, that's spicy.
Did you do a Christmas strip that didn't get greenlit
Yeah.
because it didn't have Santa Claus in it?
Netflix. It was a Woodrow the Elf, which I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk about that, but it was a screenplay where a little elf lives in the elf town in the North Pole. There it is. I just inhaled my own saliva. So I did tell Parker that I have a pretty good spice tolerance, but I have a very soft cough reflex. So if I eat like a tortilla chip, I will cough for like half an hour.
Right.
And then if I inhale my own spit, cough. But yeah, that one closed my throat.
That one doesn't feel great.
But anyway, the elf goes on this journey to save Christmas, but Santa's not there to tell him when to go. And I'm worried about you now.
You're
I thought you said you tried this.
I did.
So then, and then he goes and he finds a magical fox and he finds a gnome and he follows these little creatures around. You can tell what they're doing is trying to do like, wow, your lips aren't even closing anymore.
No, I know. Don't let me distract you.
But he follows. They get a little band together, like the old school Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or whatever.
Yeah.
But the difference is that Santa's in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He's not in Woodrow the Elf. And so Netflix, the way they pitch is they have a room full of like 30 or 40 people, like no joke, just a huge conference table, and you pitch, and then they say all have to agree yes, and it's going to move up, and it goes to one person. Was this woman who greenlights absolutely everything that goes on Netflix. Hundreds of
one person?
Yeah, hundreds of projects, thousands of projects. And she said it got past all these people, and then it gets to her, and she's like, "Where's Santa Claus? You can't have a Christmas show without Santa."
So were you just you and her in a room? And she's like,
I wasn't there. I just did the revisions, and the producer went and did it.
Right.
And that producer guy knew her because he'd had like 30 projects greenlit at Netflix. Just he was a former student actually. He was a little older, but he was a former student. He worked for Dean Devlin for a long time. And then anyway, he started his own little company, had 30 projects in Netflix. And so one little guy in one office in Portland has 30 green lights at Netflix. Just imagine how many are going at any given time.
Right.
But you're right, it is kind of a slow build.
It's a slow build.
But
that made me tear up.
Yeah. I don't know if I teared up or just my tear ducts just opened up and started leaking. My eyes don't itch or anything. Actually, I just touched my eye. That was probably a huge mistake.
You look fine.
Oh, do it?
You look good.
Oh, thank you.
We gotta know. What's your problem with Quentin Tarantino? You're always talking shit about him.
So have you ever looked up what definition of narcissistic personality disorder?
I don't know the exact.
You don't understand everything about it. He thinks that he's at the center of anything good that happens, and that anything bad that happens is somebody else's fault. That's essentially. Wash my eye out.
Yeah, do it. You can take a pause, wash it out.
I don't know. It's hard. Well, that makes it worse.
Okay.
But yeah, his movies aren't that great. In fact, I just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It was excellent. It was like the first Quentin Tarantino movie I watched in a long time where I really liked it. Except for, you can see all the self-indulgent garbage in there. Like,
Yeah.
There's 45 minutes of driving to pop songs from the 60s where there's no story being advanced. And then I know why people like them. I know why young men in particular like them. It's because because there's a lot of shouting.
Yeah.
And you don't need subtitles.
A lot of yelling.
They're swearing and saying stuff about each other and
A lot more shocking.
using a lot of N-words and stuff. But I mean, it really started coming out when he got nominated for Best Screenplay for something. It might have been Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
Right.
for the Golden Globes. And I might be bleeding. And he thanked himself because he said nobody helped him. I said, and his wife was pregnant. He didn't even thank his wife.
What?
He just sort of said, well, I guess I don't have anybody to thank because I wrote this all by myself.
Right.
And what kind of a knob does that? And actually, from the insider perspective, you can look it up. I was friends with a guy named Ted Gidlow, who was the unit production manager on Kill Bill.
Yeah.
And he was actually hired to, my eye hurts worse than my mouth right now. How's it look? Is it a little red?
Hey. Yeah, it's bloodshot.
Don't touch your eyes.
Don't touch. Oh my God.
But anyway, so Ted's first job in the film business was to keep Quentin Tarantino in the editing room so that we could finish making Kill Bill into 2 movies.
All right, go. We're almost done. We made it down the line. And we are on the last one. The last dab.
The hot? Or is that the
find out.
plateau?
I don't know.
The last one was not as hot as the bomb, but I do feel it at the top of my mouth more than my lips.
Yeah,
my lips are almost all better. Between my right eyeball, and my top of my mouth.
It's a tradition on some shows. I don't know what. But put a little extra dab on your hot wing.
You can make it.
That's all I'm doing. So, before we do this one, I want to thank you for coming on.
What's it called, the last day? Oh, it's the hot one's last day.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Sure.
I want to say, when I'm here in classes, I find it pretty chaotic. However, extremely, extremely helpful and welcoming. I want to know, as we bite into this, what is your process of teaching and making it so welcoming?
The key to teaching is to remember everybody's names, first of all.
Right.
Because then, it's like, that's what car salesmen always say. If you can remember somebody's name. The thing people like hearing the most is their own name. So if you can connect with somebody at some level, and teach somebody differently, so don't just talk to the class. Like, figure out what each person is kind of there for, what their interests are, and then speak to that. Is this like this mega hot? Or
I have no idea.
Oh, you can't feel anyone? Cheers.
Crying.
Clink. Is there anything you can go back to after eating these?
What's that?
Is there anything you can go back to after eating these?
What do you mean? Oh, eating again?
Yeah, like besides Cholula.
The Buc-ee's.
Good. Super good.
The Buc-ee's are really Italian sauce. They're great. How about you? I'm not supposed to be answering questions.
Oh, wow. You're not. Yeah. I would say probably whoop ass was pretty tasty.
You like whoop ass?
Well, as far as having flavor, some of them don't really have a lot of flavor. They just hurt. Like the bomb didn't. It was just smoky.
I didn't like the bomb. It smells better than it tastes, in my opinion.
You're right. You're right, kids.
Welcome. You did it.
Yeah.
You accomplished something that most say they can't.
Oh, well.
So tell it to this camera, or that camera.
I did it.
What you got going on?
Yeah.
What you got going on, and what you're proud of?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I'm still working on making a feature film script for Ghost Witch, which hopefully you guys will be involved in before you move away. And other than that, I've been just doing side jobs, shooting Dungeons & Dragons dice, and animating stuff for Kickstarter, which launches on Tuesday. Go buy a copy of Canopy Evergreen on Kickstarter.
Give him a round of applause.